Guys, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it. These stories are horrifying. They're horrifying. And they really bring home not just how frustrating it is to try to navigate the public school system, but how inept the people running it are, how unkind, how cruel they are, and in some instances, how racist they are. So, Mourad, let me just start with you because as I understand it, you're originally from Algeria, been in New York City 42 years. You've got two older sons who went through the New York City public schools. You're a single dad. And you had a pretty good experience. You thought, okay, I have a third child, a daughter. I'm going to do the same thing. I'll put her through the New York City public schools and should work out fine. Then came the moment when you had to get a lottery number for her venture into the 9th grade. And I understand your lottery number was very, very high. Is it expected to be lower if, as your daughter's grades were, the grades are very high and the student's resume is very strong?
The problem is, first of all, I think the Department of Education has not been honest with us. I don't believe that the random number is really random. I don't believe it. There are cases where people, for instance, who don't have their English as their first language, they have a much lower, and there are a number of cases that fall into that category. So I don't believe they are random. I went to the family center, I asked the question, I never got an answer. I believe if it was truly random, they would have said it's random. I don't think it's random.
First, draw your pattern to unlock the
device.
One
other problem is that even though it's random, there are two kinds of school and screened, which is pure lottery, and there are screened school. Screened school is based on the grades. Sarah has 100. Sarah is a honor student. She even got an award for excellence last June. So I said, even with a lower for screen, at least she will get one of the 12 choices. My surprise and my shock, both to me and to her, is that when they send her to CTE program to be a pharmacy technician, I went to family center. First of all, I think
Hold on. Let me just stop you. Let me stop you because I want to make sure the audience is with us. So Sarah's your daughter. Sarah has perfect grades, and you do not want Sarah to be a pharmacy technician. There's nothing wrong with that job, but it's just not what she wants to be. And she got a very high lottery number. If you get a lower lottery number, you're in better shape. She got a very high one. They say it's random, but you doubt that. You think they're assigning it based on other things. And because of her very high lottery number, she doesn't get into just a general high school that prepares you for college. She gets sent to a technical high school that prepares you to become a pharmacy technician, which at no point in the process did you ever tell anybody Sarah wanted to be.
Isn't that a violation of the Constitution?
But certainly the New York State Constitution, which provides a right to, I think it's a broad general education that would prepare your child for college.
Yes, there was a lawsuit against the state of New York. I don't remember, a couple of years ago, which the Supreme Court specifically said that the New York State students are entitled to sound basic education that prepare them to college.
That's right. So you
and also ESSA, which is a federal legislation, forbid any education institution to use income as a factor for admission.
So if you have money, they're not supposed to give your child a terrible lottery number just because she may have more money than somebody who doesn't have as much. That's not okay under federal law.
Federal legislation forbid that.
Mm-hmm.
And I did request the Department of Education 3 times to provide me with the criteria used in classifying my daughter in the various admission priorities. I never got a reply.
I mean, that could be bureaucracy because you never get a reply from anyone when you're dealing with administrative services in New York.
I am going to get a reply because even if I have to file a lawsuit, because I need that information, not for me, because for my daughter it's too late, but at least for future families. I think it's wrong what the Department of Education is doing.
What happened when your daughter found out she was going to the pharmacy tech high school?
She was crying. She was falling apart. That's actually a few days after she received the certificate award of excellence from high middle school. And what break my heart was when she told me, you see, you insist on getting good grade, they are worthless. And in New York State, they are worthless. And that's sad.
What do you think they're prioritizing? Do you think they're prioritizing lower income kids or kids of a certain racial background?
The sad thing, I am from Algeria. I am an immigrant. If I knew this would happen, I would not have taught my children and made an effort to have them integrate into American way of life. I should have taught them Arabic. I should have taught them French, and English become a secondary language for them. Then she would have much higher priority.
Oh, wow. When you put it that way, it really brings it home. The battle's ongoing.
People who don't speak English, people whose parents who don't make an effort to have their children integrate to American way of life get much higher priority, much better priority.
Wow. So what is she doing now? Is she at the pharmacy tech school?
No. Now I put her in school without war. It's not a very good until I sell my apartment to move out of New York State.
So you're going to move. That's the only option left to you.
Yes. For at least to provide her a better education.
Yeah, so many parents are in the same boat. The private school in New York is almost $60,000 a year. It's like you can't afford that.
I went to the Department of Education. You know what they tell you? I think they follow script, and I think they are very rude. They are very unhelpful, and sometimes they insult our intelligence. And I think it's hopeless.
Wow. You're not the only one to feel that way. There are so many kids looking to get into some of these other charter schools or better schools who cannot.
Yeah, and the odd thing is that I received the article last week, an email from one of the Department of Education saying that they have to boost the registration because apparently registration in New York City is dropping. Aren't they aware why? Good family are moving out of state of New York because of how unfairly their kids has been treated.
It's amazing because in so many districts, we just take it for granted that if, our kids will wind up at a suitable school, it may not be the best school, but a suitable school that will prepare them for life, not a specialized school that prepares them for a career they may or may not want. Let me stand you by because I want to bring in Chi and get his story, which dovetails a little bit to your own. So Chi, you have a story about your son who, similar to Sarah, worked hard, got good grades, extracurricular activities. Tell us a little bit about Zach.
Zachary is a 97 student, 3-year National Junior Honor Society. He just had an art show on East 5th Street in the middle of August. Art, he has basketball, tennis. I've always been, very, very happy and grateful that I feel blessed to have a good kid. And I always assumed that he wouldn't be a problem when we apply for high school and early college, but this has turned into a real absolute nightmare.
So can you relate to some of what we just heard in terms of the application process and not trusting the information, and what happened with your lottery situation?
Well, again, same story. We got a very high or quote unquote bad lottery number that we didn't apply for. They don't really tell you what you have to do to get this lottery number, right? If it's a matter of, hey, you got to get online, you got to fill out an application, you got to do something, I would do it. I would wake up early, get online or do whatever I have to do. But they somehow just assigned this lottery number that I don't know how, who, or when, or where it came from. And yeah, you're going. And here's the funny thing: They assigned my son to FDNY, which is in East New York. It's a good 70. I took the trip myself. It's a good 75 minutes away from my house via mass transit. But initially, they were insisting that it was only 50 minutes away because they would go on the MTA website and track it during times of slow traffic. But if you're a student and you're waking up at 6 o'clock to jump on a bus at 7 to go from Queens into Brooklyn, it's counterintuitive. You're going through some of the worst neighborhoods in New York City. You're going to a school with 38% reading rate. You're going to a school with 38% writing rate, no AP, and they're preparing my son to be a fire department, a firefighter. Which
is that right? So in the same way we saw with Sarah getting prepared to be a pharmacy technician. Again, nothing wrong with that job, but if you don't want it, why would you spend 4 years preparing for it? So your son was on the to become a fire department track. Something you've never expressed interest in.
I have no idea. But that's what the thing said. It's FDNY, and they say they prepare the children to be EMT technicians and fire department.
This is so crazy.
So, it was never listed in any of his interests to be that, and. Respectfully, at the age of 14, a lot of kids don't know what they want.
Are you tired of feeling like someone's always watching you on the internet? Maybe advertisers know a little bit too much about you, or you're concerned about the privacy of your identity. Why wouldn't you be? Using incognito mode will not solve the problem either. IPVanish VPN is here to protect your right to privacy and to help you stay anonymous online. IPVanish helps you safely browse the internet without exposing your private details to third parties like hackers, your ISP, or advertisers. When you use IPVanish, all of your data is encrypted. This means your private details, passwords, communications, browsing history, and more will be completely shielded from falling into the wrong hands. Even your physical location will be hidden. IPVanish is offering an incredible 70% off their yearly plan for our listeners with a 30-day money-back guarantee. That's like getting 9 months for free. IPVanish is super easy to use. All you have to do is tap one button and you are instantly protected. Take your privacy back today with a brand rated 4.6 out of 5 on Trustpilot. Go to ipvanish.com/Megyn and use that promo code MEGYN to claim your 70% savings. That's ipvanish.com/Megyn. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.